catcher Shea Sabrani. Coach, just want to do a quick opening statement here and get into it.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming, especially on this glorious baseball weather-like day that we have outside. And before I get started, I just want to congratulate our men's basketball team. That's a great win last night. It just shows that those kids are fighting hard and continuing to compete. So, from baseball, we're real excited about that win. I'm really excited about the upcoming season, just like every year. This group of guys has been using the fall and the early part of the January and February to work together to build this team. And we're excited to get out there and find out kind of what we're made of. And I think obviously you can do a lot in practice. You can work on things and you can get better at certain things, but nothing beats playing in a game and then having a real kind of report card after the weekend to say, hey, here's what we're doing really well. Here's what we need to continue to get better at, and kind of go from there. So it's been fun coaching these guys this fall. It's been a really team-driven leadership group, and really proud of their efforts so far and excited to go play and find out who we are.
Coach, last weekend you guys spent some time being able to have a game-like atmosphere, if you will. What did you take away from your trip away?
Well, first of all, I'm extremely appreciative of our administration allowing us to do that. Because being able, we're very fortunate we have Haluba Hall where we can get a lot of work in. We can actually inter-squad in there. But, when you're able to actually go outside and have the outfielders take balls off the bat, have the wind play into it, pitch off of a real mound rather than a portable mound, it makes a difference. And so, for us to be able to get away and almost get that taste of what it's like for us to travel on the road, how we're going to do things in the morning, how you're going to get your meals, all that kind of thing. It helps some of those new guys to kind of acclimate to that process. But then also gives us a chance to actually see kind of a little bit more where we're at in game-like settings. And so from a camaraderie standpoint, from a real good measuring stick of where I think we are, it was very good. I thought our pitchers did a great job this weekend. We had some guys offensively really step up, and and we also had some things exposed. We had some things that we need to get better at and be more consistent at. It also gave us an opportunity to take the team Saturday after our inter-squad to Arlington National Cemetery and really understand what the sacrifice that those men and women gave for our country. And actually, it's a really cool story. So we got done watching the changing of the guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and as we finished, we started walking away from there, and unbeknownst to us, the guard on post was starting his duty and marching, and there's a little, if you've never been there, there's a little green like cloth like phone booth at the end of it. And so we started walking away, and we're kind of in two groups, and as we're walking away, one of the other guards not in uniform came out from underneath and said, "Hey, Penn State." And so our guys stopped, and he said, "Hey, the guard on post wants you to know we are," and that he's a huge fan. And as we got together, like, guys were like, "Man, that's unbelievable. That's pretty cool." And it just kind of, again, I try to remind these guys and remind myself of what a special place we're at and the type of school that these guys get to go to and what it stands for. So it was pretty cool all the way around.
Bailey and Shea, what was the experience at Arlington National Cemetery like for you two? Had you ever been there before? And what was your biggest takeaway from what Coach just talked about?
I mean, for me, I've never been to really Washington, D.C. or anything, so that was my first time. I think it opened up the guys' eyes a little bit to where, we just play a game. And we got guys that are overseas fighting for our lives and fighting for us. And for us, it's kind of like, all right, we can go play this game stress-free. If these guys can do that, so I think it's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, same with me. I've never been there before, and I thought it was a great experience just to see sort of like the history of each soldier, and I was really taken aback by the amount of soldiers that had fallen and were buried there. I had never realized, and it was cool to kind of see we had one of our players, Tyler Shingledecker, had actually a relative who was buried there. So that was a really cool experience. But no, it was just a great overall experience for me.
You know, and they got a chance to see Abner Doubleday's gravesite. He's buried there. And also, you know, a person like Medgar Evers, who was one of our civil rights activist leaders, who had to pay the ultimate price in fighting for equality.
You guys had lots of close games. What is it, whether it's off-season work, maybe fall ball, whatever it might be, how have you guys kind of worked on taking that next step and maybe finishing it out and, you know, winning the one-run games instead of being on the losing end?
I mean, that's definitely something that we've emphasized. I mean, you know, I think a couple things. You know, we played in 18 one-run ball games last year, and we lost 13 of them. Okay, and there's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, obviously the other team gets to vote too on how the game's going to go out, and they get a chance to play. But one of the things that I think when we were all really honest and looked ourselves in the mirror as coaches, players, you know, the truth is the last 2 years are not acceptable to the standards of what we should play. Okay, and a lot of those one-run games and just games in general, I know we have good enough players to win and be competitive and a force in the Big Ten and nationally. It's a matter of then taking that ability and meshing it with the belief. And, you know, so when you're in a game and things aren't going well for you personally, you know, are you going to feed into that negativity, or are you going to kind of, you know, give up a little bit? You know, are you going to hold back? Are you going to try to do too much? Are you going to try to be perfect? And so we really spent a lot of time talking about mental toughness. And when I say mental toughness, I don't mean like, hey, we're going to run through a wall. You know, mental toughness can just be as simple as, you know, I'm not going to let that pass pitch influence how I go after this pitch right here. So, you know, and then also just a lot of, you know, really trying to challenge the players on, hey, if you guys want to be the best team you can be, it needs to be a player-driven team. You need to have the accountability to each other. And if somebody wants to, you know, feed into negative talk or anything like that, they only get power when you allow them to, meaning that becomes influential. And I tell you, again, you know, the fall has probably been one of the best falls I've ever been a part of. Because of what the players have done on their own, the accountability, the player-driven leadership that they've displayed. I can honestly say this, whether as a head coach, this is my 15th year now as a head coach, or as an assistant coach, they were by far and away the most competitive inter-squads I've ever been a part of. They actually felt like games at times, and that's really hard to do, but these guys did it. So when I said earlier, I'm really excited about starting the season because we've shown we can do it. They've shown they can do it. Now it's a matter of when you actually kind of get, you know, faced with some adversity, get punched in the mouth a little bit, have some failure, you know, using that. So, you know, I'm excited about what they've shown, and now it's time to put it in practice.
Coach, you talked a lot about, you know, experiences, bonding as a team, and going to DC and sharing those special moments that kind of made Penn State feel a little bigger than ourselves when we're playing for it. How do you think that bond that your team's creating is going to transition over into the regular season?
Well, you know, I actually think that's probably a really good question for them to answer. But, you know, for me, you know, look, when students are here, when we all were in, you know, believe it or not, I did go to college at one point back in the olden days. But, like, there are different stressors and different things that go on and different experiences that we all have. And so sometimes it's very easy for me to sit there and go, you know, hey, what are they really stressed about? Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, they've got pressure, especially these guys. These guys are guys on our team. They want to play at the highest level. They want to play beyond college. You know, they want to do well in school. They want to represent their families well. They want to fit in. They want to do so. There's a lot of different things that go on. But I think that to keep in mind that, you know, hey, if you really at the end of the day want to be judged on something, it's going to be judged on how you treat others, how much effort you put out, and really, you know, is it authentic and real? And then, you know, making sure you really, truly take a second to step back and grasp what a great university we're at, and that you're a part of something big. You're not just, you know, it's not just you by yourself. You're just not just a member of the baseball team. And then along with that, there's got to be pride in, hey, I am a Penn State baseball player, and it means something. Like, instead of just going down to one of the shops downtown and buying a Penn State baseball shirt, the one that I earn as a player actually needs to mean something. It needs to have more meaning and value than the one that you can go buy for however many dollars downtown. So that's my take on it. And again, like I said, I think these guys are building something great. They're going to need to keep it together and stay together when something goes bad. And we will have adversity. So they need to keep it together. But I think it's a good question for them to answer because they've done a good job of it to this point.
Yeah, I agree with Coach. I think to go along with that, though, sort of us staying together as like sort of a tight-knit group has been huge sort of off the field. And I think that's really going to carry over this season. Like Coach was saying, when we face adversity in games, say we go down a run, go down 2 runs, sort of being able to stay together as a team and fight through that and realize we can win this game. I think that starts in the dugout, and that's sort of the biggest component, I think, that we took away from last year and sort of we need to improve on this coming year.
I think that from last year's standpoint, it's more of I think this year we have a way better culture. Another way, if one guy goes down, I think this team has the ability to look at the next guy and say, all right, this guy's going to get the job done. And then with the culture that we've built through, I mean, we do everything together, off the field, on the field. And I think everything leading up to this point I think it's leading us to success at some point. So I think it'll be fun. We're excited for it.
You just mentioned how excited you guys are, and Coach talked about how competitive your inter-squad scrimmages have been. How ready are you guys to just start the regular season and play baseball?
We're ready to go. It's been a long fall. It's been a long spring. Winter was great. I think that our pitching's ready. Hitters are definitely ready. I think we're ready to go to North Carolina and do some work.
Yeah, I think we've all been sort of itching to play someone with another name across their chest. We've been playing our guys for however many months, and it's been great. It's been competitive. But I think we're sort of itching to get out there and see what we can do as a team against someone without Penn State across their chest.
You talk about this weekend. What's one challenge that Monmouth poses, or what's one thing that they do well that you're preparing for?
I think from what we've seen is they have a couple good arms. But other than that, I'm not too worried about it right now. We still got a lot of stuff to look at, scouting reports, all that kind of stuff. But from our standpoint, I think that if we do what we can do, and if we apply what we've been applying the fall and the spring, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think last year for us doesn't carry over to this year. Last year for Monmouth doesn't carry over to this year. So it doesn't matter what team we're playing. I think we're going to go out there and play hard and do the best we can and come out with a win.
I mean, really the thing is that we've been trying to emphasize it, and all the best teams that I've ever been a part of or watch and respect is it's not about who you're playing. It's about yourself. It's about your team. It's about the controllables. So we're playing Monmouth this weekend. We're playing them this Friday, right? So after that, we'll play more teams. We'll play different teams. And whether they're ranked, not ranked, went to the super regional, nationally, whatever, national power, it doesn't matter. The only constant is us. So one of the things that we've had to get, better at and talked a lot about is it's not so much about what another team does. I mean, we're going to respect everybody we play. The game of baseball is like that. Again, you saw it last night. A team that's ranked in the top 10 in the nation in basketball, and a team that's been fighting like crazy, and that's why you play the game. So it's not about who we're playing. And really, the truth is that if we want to have a good year, it can't be about who we're playing. It needs to be about us, and it needs to be how we react, how we respond, how we look at the upcoming opponent. Do we make them bigger than they are, or do we just worry about us and believe in ourselves?
Any other questions?
Do you have the starting rotation set for this weekend?
Yeah, Dante Biazzi will go Friday. Bailey D's here will go Saturday. and Eric Mock will go Sunday. And, you know, I know that we're going to need help out of the bullpen, whether a guy's a starter or not, but, you know, so I'm excited about all those guys and what they can bring to the table. But I just, you know, I'll brag about this guy to my left here. I mean, this is a guy that, put his trust in Penn State, came all the way from North Carolina, came here. I mean, every freshman goes through it where they're overwhelmed and they doubt themselves, and this kid just kept working and working. And if you look back, you know, last year at the end of the season, he's starting in the rotation against Iowa, and he, you know, went on a mission over the summer to get stronger, to develop another pitch, to get better, mostly to feed his own confidence. And, you know, I could have very easily named him the Friday night guy, you know, and you know, so I'm proud of him. I'm proud of what the guys are doing. Shea's another example, was injured most of the year last year, and he's come back, you know, being a leader, being a competitor, and you know, we're excited to get going with these guys.
All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks everybody for coming out. Appreciate it. Get your moms.